What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're looking at some more entitled people. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell, as it hugely helps out that channel. I can't stress that enough. And with that being said, let's get straight into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from GY33Z33. I can't even pronounce that name. My co-worker thinks everyone owes her something because she's pregnant. So for some backstory, my co-worker and I used to be friendly. My DH, 26 male, and I, 24 female, started trying for a baby after we got married last May. Co-worker, 19 female, and her boyfriend, 19 male, also started trying for a baby at this time, and I am almost positive they only did this because we were. She got pregnant fairly quickly, and I still have not. She was semi-selfish before, but since she got pregnant, it's like a switch has flipped, and she has become insufferable. Back in December, our job offered an opportunity for easy overtime. She picked up the first shift for like 5 hours. She told me they needed someone for the next day, and that she said they'd do it if they couldn't find anyone else, and she was only doing it for like 2 hours, but didn't seem like she wanted to. I wasn't doing anything that day, and I already had a fairly decent amount of overtime, so why not add more to my Christmas/vacation check? So I told my boss I would do it. She didn't say anything to me after I volunteered. The next morning, her and I were going to be working together. She brought up the number of hours she had on that check, and I told her how many I had. She said, "Oh, you need a break, I'll do that overtime." I told her no, she didn't need to, I was fine doing it. An hour later she asked me, "So am I staying or are you staying?" I told her again that I was. Throughout the day, several times, she would mention how tired she was, and I would respond with, "Me too," and she would offer to do the overtime. I still said no, so I do the overtime. As I'm getting ready to leave, my replacement was telling me how pissed co-worker is that I took the overtime from her when I don't have kids, and I know she has a baby to save up for. Okay, whatever, I ignore it. She asked me to plan her baby shower with her mum, and I agree because I can't say no. She always told me that her mum is nuts and constantly talks shit on her mum. Okay, whatever. Getting to know her mum, she seems really nice. Her mum has done so much for her to have a nice baby shower, and her parents have bought or given them pretty much every big ticket item for the baby. She's constantly asking her mum to bring her things or take her places because she doesn't feel like driving. Yet she constantly talks shit on her mum. Okay, cool, you do you, girl. But the final straw with that is that she told another co-worker yesterday that her mum was nuts and I was ridiculous for talking to her, but yet she expects her mum to do all this shit for her for a baby shower. We ended up having to cancel the baby shower due to CDC recommendations and quarantine issues, but last night she kept telling me that she didn't care, she still wanted to have the shower. What's the bet? In 4 or 5 years she's going to end up on r/entitled bitches or r/entitled parents. Keep your eye out, guys. Our next story is from Pokemaster Mason. My old neighbour tried to make my dad pay her because her dog got pregnant. This story is from when I was a little kid, and I remember this very well because my dad brings it up every chance that he gets. So our dog Sam got out for a week, and we told our neighbours to look out for a chocolate lab that was good at coming to their name, which was Sam. Eventually we got Sam back, and 2 weeks later our neighbour came pounding on the door. My dad answered, "Can I help you?" Neighbour said, "Your dog got my dog pregnant. Mine is a purebred German Shepherd and I will be compensated the difference in price for each mutt. You should keep better track of your fucking animals." My dad then called Sam, lifted her up, flashing her cooter right in the neighbour's face. "How on earth could my dog knock up your dog?" The neighbour then went from pissed to embarrassed when my dad wrapped up with, "Who needs to keep track of their fucking animals?" before placing Sam down and slamming the door. I rarely saw that neighbour after that. I haven't heard cooter in years. Our next story is from Gino13. Found the rare manager Karen through Uber Eats. Had an incident in my rookie days last year as a food delivery guy for Uber Eats, where the instructions for pickup said, use the drive-thru or walk in for food. So I went to the drive-thru and I encountered something I never knew was real. A Karen that is the manager, and gave me an unnecessarily large amount of shit for daring to clog up her McDonald's drive-thru line instead of walking in. It devolved into that kind of conflict where the person has some parts in the wrong, but must get the final jab in at you to be in the right in their la la land in their head. Manager Karen said, "Why are you here?" I said, I'm here to pick up an order, like I said to speak, and I was cut off. "I mean, why didn't you walk in?" And I show the phone with the McDonald's instructions zoomed in, trying to be calm and polite through my anxiety, but she looks pissed, like I was dropping her juice on the counter. "Sorry, this is my first time here. The app for pickup instructions say drive-through is allowed." Manager Karen says, "Well, not at my store it isn't. I don't care if you're 100th delivery. I have customers you're blocking and wasting time. You're getting written up on the app for this." From how she's acting, probably an empty threat because she has no patience to figure out how. Also can confirm I've never got a negative review there. I keep showing the app and pointing to the drive-through or walk-in. Miss, I'm just following what my app says. All you have to do is go online and change the instructions for your store. I think this is the default." She says, "Yeah?" with crossed arms. "You know how busy I am. I'll do as I see fit, but don't you dare come to the window next time." I said I won't. I told you this is my first time here. I'm just following instructions like they tell me to. She said, "You better not." "Can I just have the food now?" She says, "Fine," and practically tosses a bag and cup at me and slams the window. Window clerk gives that "try working here" apologetic look. The irony of her holding me up there for 10 minutes just to yell at me is not lost on me to this day. The reason I wanted to post it now is because now that the coronavirus is going around, I have to use the drive-thru as instructed by every single fast food place in town, and it reminded me of this incident. Oh, to get her place again now if she's still there. I'm sort of curious whether actually she got in trouble, but she must have been holding you at that line for 10 minutes, holding up that queue of people in the first place just while she gives you grief. Our next story is from Princess Cheetos 77. Entitled man tries to take our seat at the movies. My husband changes his mind. Quick backstory, my husband works in IT. His department works with several vendors whose products they use. Several of these vendors like to hold Customer Appreciation Day for all of their customers in the city. Several companies. They rent out movie theatres for newly released movies, offer dinner and dessert, free popcorn, and have raffles for their customers and their families. Also to note, because of several health issues I have, I can't stand for long periods of time and sometimes have to walk with a cane. I was using my cane when this story happened. For the latest Appreciation Day, it was for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. We had pizza and soda, and they had a local ice cream shop catered for dessert. The raffles went on while we ate, an Xbox One, a drone, etc. And once we were done eating, we got our assigned tickets, important later, and headed to the theatre. When we got there, my husband went ahead and took 2 of our kids to get free popcorn, while I slowly made my way to our seats with our remaining 2 kids. Our 6 seats were dead centre of the theatre, perfect view of the screen. Perfect. Except there were already people sitting in them. There were a group of 3 mid-30s guys and their wives. I looked at my ticket and the row letter on the floor next to the seats. Yep, these people were in our seats. By the time I made it to the seats, my husband and the kids had caught up to us. He saw the people in our seats and stepped into the row. Quick note, my husband is 6'2", slightly buff. He'd been working out for several months before this story takes place, and has a resting arsehole face, so he looks pissed all the time, but he's a really nice guy. We've had several of our friends tell us that they're too afraid to talk to hubby when they first met him because he looked mean. It's something we laugh over and tease him about. "Excuse me," hubby said, catching their attention, "you're in our seats." The guy in the middle looked up. This entitled guy? "Oh, are we?" he said, pretending badly to be surprised. "You are," hubby told him. "I didn't think it was assigned seating," E.G. said, and looked to his friends. "Me either," chimed in another guy, and his wife nodded. They're both smirking. Hubby pointed to the ticket in E.G.'s hand. "Your seat number is on the ticket," he pointed out, and I can tell he's starting to get annoyed. E.G. shoved his ticket into his pocket. "Well, we're already sitting," he said smugly. "Can't we just stay here?" At this point my legs were going numb and I'm feeling a bit lightheaded. Oldest son noticed me slightly doubled over my cane and calls out to my husband. "Hey Dad!" OS pointed to me. E.G. and his group looked over. Hubby sees me and he frowns, which is, in all honesty, pretty frightening. He turns back to E.G. and his group and says one single word. "Move." It came out as more of a growl. The smug smile immediately dropped from E.G.'s face and a second later he hops up from his seat. His wife and the rest of the group follow, looking a bit scared. Hubby said nothing, but stood there and glared at them while they vacated our seats. I would have laughed if I hadn't been in pain. As they shuffled past me, I heard one guy say, "I told you that wasn't going to work." I finally got to sit down and watch the group as they made their way to the bottom of the theatre and take seats in the second row. I assumed those were their assigned seats because they stayed there and nobody approached them for the remainder of our wait for the movie to start. I hate it when people don't respect assigned seats because it's just such an awkward situation, like on the bus, on a plane, anything like that. And you have to go up to them and say, "Sorry, that's my seat." And you have to feel guilty for them sitting in your seat. I mean, what the hell? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Entitled People. If you did, would you kindly click that like button? As always, it hugely helps this channel. And without that sort of assistance, this channel just doesn't move anywhere. It stays stagnant. So thank you so much for your support, your time out your day in these troubled times. I hope you're staying safe. Look after yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Much love.